Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday Eve. Pleasant day here in Omaha, Nebraska on a Thursday morning. My name is Tony Butler. I'm one of the life sales directors here. And on this call, I have Corey Martin, who's with Sagicor. He's a regional sales manager, Sagicor. And in short, the webinar today basically is going to talk about why single premium life. So let's get right into some things here. Real quick, and then I'm going to turn this over to Corey. Just want to talk about just a couple of things for you, the advisors. One of which, if I can get my screen to work, what we're seeing where the market has turned, and I'm sure that you guys are well aware of, we're doing more electronic applications than ever before. Carriers are turning to e-apps, and some strictly just do electronic applications. And if anything that COVID taught us was that you can still do business without being face-to-face with your clients. So wanted to point out there's a couple of platforms that you can do that. Our IMES website, as you see, has a myriad of different tools available. One of those tools, or a couple of those tools, is the ability to submit electronic applications. If you're a life producing agent, you can go to iGo eApp Solutions, which you can access through our website. The majority of the life carriers that we work with go through iGo. And then we also have Firelight. You can register for Firelight through our website, and as you see here, these are the annuity carriers that we work with that go through Firelight for electronic applications. There are a couple of life carriers that we work with that go through Firelight. So wanted to point that out to you. If you have any questions as far as submitting electronic applications, definitely give us a call. We'd be more than happy to walk you through the process. Another thing I want to point out is our Life and Annuity Academies. This is the first time in a long time that I can remember to where we actually have dates on the books for the academies that we're doing this year. And as you see here, we've got one that's going on right now in Des Moines. Our next academy is going to be here in our Omaha office, and then we have another one in July. That location is to be determined, and then we have another one in August. Those are going to be our Index Universal Life Academies. If you're interested in our Life and Annuity Academies, I strongly suggest that you respond to this polling question. We have received a lot of interest in the academies and want to make sure that we get individuals in the office to have some conversations to talk about industry trends, sales ideas, sales strategies, and get you talking to other advisors as well. So I'm going to keep this up just for a few more seconds to make sure I get everybody to respond. If you have any questions or specific questions, we will definitely answer those for you. So let me go ahead and close that out. Looks like I've got everybody that responded. And lastly, we've got a couple of trips I want to bring to your attention. We have the Athene Academy that just spoke about here, and then we've had the Seaside Sanctuary trip. This is a trip that's going to happen here in 2024. As you see here, the qualifying dates and qualifications as far as points that's needed. If you have specific questions on where you're at on the trip, I know that we've got a few agents that have already qualified for the trip. Definitely reach out to us. Any one of the sales directors can have that conversation with you on that. And pretty much that's it for now from an IMES perspective in terms of some things that we offer. I'm going to turn it over to Corey now. Corey, you still there for me?
Tony, I'm with you, sir. Thanks for having me, and I'll take the con here as soon as you prepare me to go.
You now have the con, sir.
Outstanding. Well, good morning, and thanks so much for your time this morning. And Tony, thank you for the introduction. Um, my name is Corey Martin. I'm the regional sales manager with Sagicor Life Insurance Company. I'm based in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, and I sure appreciate you taking some time out of your morning to learn more about why single premium life. And as Tony mentioned, single premium life is a bit of an enigmatic product from the standpoint of it had been considered more of a niche oriented product, something that people knew was in their back pocket. There's not a lot of agents and advisors that see themselves as a single premium life producer, but we're hoping to tear down some of the walls this morning. A couple of things I'd like to accomplish in our conversation, albeit brief this morning, is to define the opportunities. If you're not currently offering single premium life, we want to give you some compelling reasons why you should think about changing that and taking advantage of some of the opportunities presented in the market these days. We'll talk about discovery tips as well on finding the money, which is certainly a key component of funding single premium life contracts, is knowing where the money is. We'll also talk through some real world sales ideas as well as case studies that you can take and use today. We'll obviously help you define who's a client, who's a prospect, and why should I be engaging and talking to these folks about single premium life specifically. Then we'll talk about some specifics on our process at Sagicor and how to get started. And then obviously we want to make sure we answer the question, you know what, in the big scheme of things, why Sagicor? So with that, let's get started and have a conversation about single premium and why single premium life. So some things to consider. There's two numbers that I want to bring to your attention, and in the big scheme of where opportunity lies for single premium life. It was brought to my attention at the beginning of 2022. I paid attention to a conference that I had attended that LIMRA found, and LIMRA conducts their studies at the end of each year and publishes their findings for what happened for the buying public in the previous year. And in 2021, nearly 63% of life insurance buyers identified wealth transfer as the #1 reason they bought. Now, I'm a 27-year veteran in the industry, and I've never seen a number that large for specifically wealth transfer and wealth transfer type products. So what that tells me is potentially 63% of your clients are Googling wealth transfer. So in the spirit of being proactive, it's important to understand that the clients these days that are buying life insurance, that is something that caught my attention in a big way and kind of defines that opportunity for all of us. On top of that, a federal government study predicted nearly 70%, 7 out of 10 people that are turning age 65 right now will have a need for chronic illness benefits of some kind. That's a big number. So those two numbers, 63 and 70, kind of define where the opportunity lies for us as agents and advisors, as well as our industry moving forward. And then the big question becomes now, where do I find the money? Where and how can I find the money, talk to my clients about these types of opportunities, and perhaps open doors that I hadn't thought about opening previously? So what Sagicor is seeing specifically, with the pandemic, there was a huge influx of money to the banking system. So people were, again, digging a moat, or think about digging a moat around your dollars. You're keeping them close to home. You may be keeping them in cash, money market accounts. something where it's very close to home. So the primary source of funds you might imagine as being, lazy assets. Think CDs, money market accounts, savings accounts. That's what we had initially seen a great deal of. And the other opportunity is certainly old cash value life insurance policies. One of the largest transfers that we did in one of the largest cases for wealth care was funded on an old cash value life insurance policy. It was actually a variable life contract that the client no longer felt they wanted exposure to the market that variable life entailed. It was pretty much a slam dunk once the client saw the opportunity and saw some of the bells and whistles that we'll talk about as we move forward. But that's certainly a reason to visit and revisit with your clients on opportunities that may be in old cash value life insurance policies. And then think low yield, high fee instruments, bond funds, for example. The bond market had a horrible year in 2022. And so that may be enticing your clients to look for other avenues and other holding tanks for their money. Again, another very large case that we did was an inheritance. Some farmland, farming family up in Kansas. Father had passed away. The son and daughter had no interest in the farming industry. One of our agents and advisors had discussed the opportunity for a single premium type of contract. The father had passed away from cognitive issues. These products also cover cognitive care. So again, it's an opportunity to engage your clients in a new way. So one of the best discovery tips that I got and have seen in this business was actually a dear friend of mine. About 7 years ago, I attended a presentation for a dear friend who's a lifetime MDRT, $1 Million Roundtable producer. And he took the step of basically what he did in his conversation with us, some home office employees, some agents and advisors, some new agents and advisors in his own practice. We were discussing, how do you interview your clients? How do you sit down and prospect and talk with them about opportunities to do something different with their money? And what he would ask his clients every time that he would meet with them, and he literally would draw 2 vertical lines up and down a whiteboard to make 3 columns, and he would write in the left-hand column taxable now, the middle column would be tax deferred, and the far right column would be tax free. And he would ask his clients, Mr. and Mrs. Jones, I would like to talk with you and speak with you and review your dollars, your money in the form of through the lens of taxation. And if we can do that, we may find opportunities to help you from a tax perspective. So when you're talking big picture with your clients, it's a great opportunity to open up a almost philosophical conversation about where and how they hold their money in one of these 3 tax buckets, which are the prevalent ways that clients and people in general hold their money in one of these 3 tanks. This opens a conversation like you would not believe. As a matter of fact, just a quick story. I had this has been not long after the conversation I had with this agent up in the St. Louis area, is actually where he's domiciled, where he's located. I did a presentation just like I'm doing with you all today, where I had encouraged agents and advisors to open up the conversation in regards to the let's look at your savings and retirement through the lens of taxation. And it was some terrific dialogue, some great opportunities were uncovered. I had one agent come up to me after the conversation and said, you know what, this opened my eyes in a new way. I'm going to take my top 5 clients and I'm going to interview them in this regard and talk with them about their savings and retirement through the lens of taxation. and I looked eagerly forward to another conversation that we would have about 3 weeks later. This agent called me back and was actually a property and casualty agent, so it was not somebody that's your traditional life producer. This agent came back to me and said, Corey, you know what? You opened my eyes in an unbelievable way, and I just wanted to tell you this quick story. I had a retired client, 70-year-old female. Um, in my opinion, she called and wanted property and casualty rates every year, wanted to save money. I didn't think she had any money. So basically what I did is she's one of my best clients. I did exactly as you instructed. I took took the time to find the tax now, the tax deferred and tax free bucket. We did that. We did that and talked through where her savings are and where her money was being held and why. Come to find out, she had $1.6 million in her checking account. Needless to say, there were some opportunities uncovered that day that changed that client's paradigm, that changed that agent's paradigm, and it's an opportunity for you to engage your client in a way that they may have not been engaged before. So I would encourage you to utilize that if you see fit. So one quick sales idea. Now, Sagicor, for those of you that don't know, we are a relatively new player in the USA marketplace. Been here since 2012. Now, Sagicor is not new to the financial services industry. We actually have we're domiciled on the islands. The Sagicor Financial Group has been around since 1840. So one of the largest financial institutions in the world. But not many people know that about us. And when we rolled out in U.S. distribution, MIGAs, or multi-year guarantee annuities, 3 and 5 year, were really our sweet spot. That's how we became known in the marketplace. So we get numerous calls on MIGA renewals, very similar to our friends and partners at IMES, and maybe you all, if you have a large agency that you run or agents that you do business with. One of the things and one of the areas that we're also finding money in, we call it the split ticket approach. You have an agent or advisor that calls in for a MIGA renewal. It's a great time to ask that agent if the purpose of that money has changed over time. Educate them on what 63 and 70 potentially mean for them moving forward. Those numbers for wealth transfer and for chronic benefits. And if the need or is no longer current or future income, it may be a great opportunity to talk about a product that delivers tax advantages and leverage that annuities often don't. This pool of money can be, again, used for chronic illness, and all of it can be done with a return of premium guarantee, which is one of the key features of our contract. Another opportunity that we're seeing, obviously, is if you, most of us are now aware of the 10-year distribution rule that is part of the Secure Act. That can expose beneficiaries oftentimes to unnecessary tax burden. So we are seeing some terrific opportunities here as well. Before the Secure Act, as we know, the non-spouse beneficiaries could stretch those distributions over their lifetime. And under the Secure Act now, those funds need to be and must be liquidated over a 10-year period, which again, we'll show you a case study that we recently just completed here, a case that we just wrote, where the beneficiary's son would be exposed to tremendous tax burden if we didn't take action, which is exactly what this particular client ended up doing. Now, in the case of Betty, in a case that we ran into, again, utilizing the tax discovery that we just talked about, you've got a 72-year-old widow, and Keith, her only son, is in his 50s. She inherited her husband's $500,000 IRA and really didn't need it from the standpoint of she collected a pension, really was just taking RMDs from that IRA and just going on her merry way, and nobody had ever approached her with exactly what could be opportunistic about those dollars. Her needs at this point were chronic illness. She was concerned about being a burden to her family, and certainly wanted to leave a legacy for her kids. Now, the challenge for Keith, one of her beneficiaries, her son beneficiary, in this particular instance, he's in a 32% tax bracket as is. Now, liquidating that $500,000 over a 10-year period would potentially add another $50,000 of taxable income to his balance sheet on a regular basis moving forward. So that IRA asset could create a huge tax liability for Keith. So what we ended up doing, and the advisor ended up advising this particular client, Betty, to go ahead and take a distribution, in this case, just $133,000 to cover the net that we wanted of $100,000 from her IRA, $33,000 held in arrears for to pay the tax bill, and she purchased a $100,000 single premium wealth care policy. So what that ended up doing for her, the tax benefits and the guaranteed and non-guaranteed death benefits and potential chronic illness benefits as well, were magnified significantly. We basically created a guaranteed death benefit at the end of year one of $186,000. So we had the leverage of that. God forbid something happened to her in the first year. Also, the chronic pool that we created leverage there as well. So the beautiful thing about our contract we call wealth care is that the death benefit, the entire death benefit, albeit we hold $25,000 in arrears to make sure we create the integrity of a life insurance contract, but the death benefit, the entire death benefit, up to $500,000 can be utilized for that chronic benefit, either in a lump sum or a 48-month monthly income. So that's a beautiful thing that we were able to create for Betty and Keith, knowing that guaranteed death benefits and guaranteed chronic benefits were available, and created the leverage that they were looking to create. So let's talk a little bit about the specifics on the process and how this works. Now, hopefully you've started thinking through some potential clients that you would like to sit down with and go through perhaps the tax conversation of looking at your client's savings through the lens of taxation. The way that wealth care, our single premium IUL, and it is a single premium IUL, but what we've done is we've added, again, the return of premium, which is huge. If you're transferring dollars from your left pocket to your right pocket, the return of premium is a big deal maker for us in regards to the client being comfortable writing that check. The way these are underwritten, now think about net amount at risk. So the initial deposit, let's just look at Betty, $100,000 deposit creates a guaranteed death benefit of $186,000 first year. So if we look at the difference between the net amount at risk, that net amount at risk in that particular case would be $86,000, or the difference between the single premium and the death benefit. So in this particular instance with Betty, this would qualify for our accelerated underwriting process. Now, what's unique about our accelerated underwriting process? Well, we always recommend that you quote preferred rates. Now, whether you access through IMES, through our website, run illustrations on WinFlex, wherever you happen to be running illustrations, this is what you'll run into. The NAR, or net amount at risk, is important to understand, because that will be the decision maker of whether this is an accelerated underwriting for potential immediate issue. But we always recommend quoting and running illustrations at preferred. Why is that? Well, our preferred class is a blended class. It's preferred through table 4. So there's a lot of bandwidth in there. So you've got clients, and we write this product up to age 85. 18 through 85. So you've got a lot of bandwidth and a lot of medical maladies that will come into play that would be a preferred class in this particular contract with us. E-application and e-delivery only. So again, it's all in good order. You know exactly when you're done, it won't let you fail and leave out a social security number, or it won't let you fail and leave out a crediting index. It won't allow you to do anything until you have completed the application, submit, and potentially get an immediate decision and an immediate issue, which happens about 35% of the time. So why specifically wealth care? When we talk about, again, leverage and we talk about chronic benefits in a death benefit type of product, what do you want? You want growth. We want opportunity to move that needle of death benefit up. How we've done that, we've partnered recently with BlackRock iShare brand for additional crediting options and diversification for your clients. So again, 18 to 85, so we've allowed for a lot of bandwidth there, always quoting that preferred class, guaranteed return of premium from day one, which makes it a very unique asset class, and lifetime guaranteed death benefits with, again, that upside potential through the utilization of indice options through the iShare brand with BlackRock. Now also credited interest rate bonus, which if you're not aware, in year 11, the floor becomes 50 basis points, not zero any longer. So think of it as a persistency bonus. The chronic illness accelerated death benefit rider that we add at no additional cost and no separate underwriting. So again, there's no drag on the policy whatsoever, and create a pool of chronic benefits up to $500,000. So again, the chronic illness trigger, which we talked about, is the inability to perform 2 of 6 ADLs. So you've got the definition that clearly and closely defined by, again, any long-term care option that you may be viewing or looking at, which covers, again, severe and cognitive impairments as well. So great opportunity here. Now the growth side and upside potential, again, here are just some of the options that your client can pick and choose from. The interesting thing about us, again, is not only the fact that you have your tried and true S&P indice options, both caps, high cap and high par. The high cap strategy, you've got an 11% cap, which is basically a 1% asset fee for any portion of that high cap or high par strategy that's utilized. So again, you've got multiple options to talk through your clients when you talk about leverage. So pivot strategies. Now, this is life insurance, and any of you that are already in the annuity space, any property and casualty producers, even if you're a core life producer, you need to have some type of strategy that, you know, if you're talking with a 75, 77, 78, 80-year-old individual, you need something to fall back on. And as I mentioned previously, Sagicor has cut their teeth in the U.S. marketplace with very attractive MIGA rates. So think our 3-year and 5-year MIGA rates, we're currently at 520 on a national basis. So even if, God forbid, you're in the discovery phase of your client is excited about the opportunity to create some leverage and create some legacy, and you run into that situation where they had a stent put in 6 months ago. Well, again, uninsurability is part of being in the life insurance business, but having a pivot strategy with a company that you've already engaged, again, this is a great opportunity for us to take apples and create something new. So again, again, lemons create lemonade. And if you run into a pivot strategy need, you have a company in Sagicor that is forefront in aggressive rates for 3 and 5 year MIGAs. you'll find us very attractive in the marketplace, and it is a very easily done pivot strategy. So let's just, again, as we look toward closing out here this morning, I want to talk a little bit about market differentiators for Sagicor, because obviously there are choices out here in the single premium space. It's becoming a prevalent conversation among different carriers. What separates Sagicor from a lot of the competitors out here in the marketplace is, again, that our digital process, its application, its delivery, we have embraced technology from day one and will continue to do that. Our application and delivery process allows you to do business over state lines. A lot of our competitors are still using paper applications and require face-to-face interviews. We don't do any of that. Guaranteed return of premium from day one creates again, a confidence conversation that you can show somebody how to keep those dollars intact. And if 5 years down the road you need your client runs into something that they didn't foresee, they need a money back option, hey, Sagicor is that company. The opportunity for auto issue. If you do take our digital application, once you hit submit, again, 35% of the time, you can expect an automatic issue. So again, those opportunities are available using our digital process. We talked a little bit about the blended class, the preferred through table 4 opportunity. Take advantage of that and be sure when you utilize these opportunities to quote our products that you utilize that preferred classification. Again, no face-to-face meetings are required. No telephone interviews ever, which is a huge part of doing business with Sagicor. We're not going to put you in that position. Telephone interviews, in my experience, I've seen a lot of cases go sideways when control is given up that way. Minimum of $5,000 and literally no maximum. So if you run into, again, somebody with $1.6 million in their checking account and have an opportunity to do some type of planning, let us know. Talk with Tony, talk with the team at IMES. We are here to help you as well. Myself and my internal sales specialist, Chris Veal, will be more than happy to help you. A differentiator as well is the fact that these are indemnity chronic benefits. Be careful when you're talking about chronic benefits with carrier A, B, or C from the standpoint of, is this indemnity or is this some other type of contract where reimbursement becomes an issue? You certainly don't want to put your client in a position where they're having to keep track of mileage, where they're having to keep track of other expenses and things of that nature when all they're trying to do is take care of mom or dad. BlackRock iShare ETF, the opportunity for upward growth. This gives again the largest asset manager in the world we've partnered with, and certainly will provide you with some name recognition. And the other beautiful thing that I'm able to deliver you this morning is that this will create zero impacts to illustrations that you are running now or will run on Monday when AG 49A 2.0 takes effect. So because of the unique conservative structure of how Sagicor has built our universal life contracts, there will be absolutely no impact to illustrations you run today and illustrations you run on Monday. So there's a large degree of confidence there. So take advantage of some of these opportunities that we've talked through. If you're interested to find out more about Sagicor, about opportunities in this marketplace, we have created a micro marketing site that I would suggest you visit with more sales ideas, additional case studies, marketing templates, email campaigns, customizable pieces, LinkedIn and Facebook posts. There is a lot of detail at SagicorProducer.com. So hopefully we've spurred on a little bit of creative juices flowing, if you will. Think about clients and how you can speak with them differently. And certainly if you have any questions for me, direct those. You can direct those through Tony. We are always here to help you grow your business and help you have productive and profitable conversations with your clients. With that, Tony, I'm going to turn it back over to you.
Corey, thank you so much. I'm going to take over here.
There you go.
Okay.
But
You see
thanks so
my
much
screen?
for your time and attention, and look forward to speaking with you all soon.
Okay. Well, don't go anywhere because we've
Nope,
got a
I'm
couple of
here.
things here. All right.
Absolutely.
I'm going to open this up for questions, as well as there's going to be a couple of polling questions that we have for you based on the content that we provided today. Corey, there was a question that came up. How does Sagicor compare to mutual companies?
Very well, as a matter of fact. We have had the opportunity to what you'll want to do when you're looking at mutual companies. Their returns are typically based on dividends and dividend history, which dividends are never guaranteed. But look at the 20-year cash accumulation, and you look at how the chronic illness benefit is utilized and underwritten more specifically. So very favorably. And coming from a mutual background, my previous stop was with a mutual carrier. We've compared this to a number of carriers in the marketplace. Very, very competitive contract.
Awesome. There's another question that I can answer. Is this presentation being recorded and sent out? Yes, it is.
Perfect.
There you go. So, Corey, you'd mentioned indemnity, and
Yes,
I know that sometimes people are confused on how that works. And in you and I, previous conversation, you kind of provided a little bit more detail. Can you speak to
sure.
that just a little bit for us, please?
Absolutely. So in the world of chronic benefits and long-term care type of benefits, there are chronic benefits that are delivered via indemnity policies, which is what wealth care is. Our contract is an indemnity contract, which basically just means we pay that benefit based on the claim of the individual. So once the individual goes on claim, we're going to pay that benefit exclusive of what you use it for. A reimbursement contract, which some of our competitors and some of my competitors in this space are providing reimbursement contracts, is basically designed as a quote unquote long-term care benefit. So you have to provide receipts. Now, if somebody were to go into a long-term care facility, basically what you would do in a reimbursement contract is you would pay that monthly expense and you would receive a receipt for it, submit that to the insurance company, and they would pay you those benefits as a reimbursement. So that's the big differentiator is I would be collecting receipts, providing those receipts to the insurance carrier and being paid at that point by the insurance carrier, where an indemnity policy, which is what wealth care is, we pay it based on the claim of the individual. Once the individual goes on claim, you can receive a single premium lump sum. Here's your check. We don't care what you use it for. You just go take care of mom and dad. And then also you have the option of being paid over a 48-month period. Again, monthly. We don't care what that expense is used for. We allow you to just do what's right by your client, have your client take care of mom and dad, and that check will just come monthly.
Now, is that check minus any fees that Sagicor charges?
Well, so the way the fee works, there's a $250 administration fee initially upon claim, and then we just take that, and again, up to a $500,000 death benefit or up to a $500,000 chronic benefit. So what we do is we take up to let's just assume the death benefit is $200,000. We take $25,000 and we leave that as the residual death benefit to make sure it has the integrity of a life contract. We take that death benefit minus $25,000, minus a $250 administration fee. That total is then either divided by 48 months and paid out over 48 months, or it's given as a singular one-time death benefit.
Awesome. Okay, I'm not seeing any additional questions, so I'm going to round this out by asking just a couple more questions to those that are still attending.
Sure.
If you'd like more information on today's topic, want you to polling question, please be sure to respond and we'll make sure to get that additional information out to you. The link that Corey provided, if you're unable to get that, I will have that available for you as well, and we'll get that out to you for those that are interested in additional information. So I'm going to leave this up for just a little while longer because it looks like a lot of people are wanting more information. That's always good.
Outstanding.
Just a few more seconds here. All right, now go ahead and close that down. And if you're not appointed with Sagicor and you would like to get appointed with Sagicor, I've launched a polling question for that. We can definitely get that appointment request submitted for you today. Now, Sagicor is a just-in-time carrier, correct, Corey?
Correct. You bet.
All right, looks like we got quite a few individuals looking to get appointed, Corey. That's got to make you happy.
I love the sound of that, sir. We certainly look forward to the opportunity to further relationships along the way. So this is that's what these are about. It's less product dump type material, but hey, we want to help you further your practice.
Absolutely. Lastly, and this and all of them were important, but this is really important because this is how everyone earns a living. If you have clients that you see that has immediate need for our topic today, please respond to this polling question and we'll be sure to reach out to you today to get the necessary information so we can get that proposal out to you. And as people are responding, if you have any additional questions as you see on the screen here, you can reach out to me. There's my email address, or Trina or Beth. They are the other two life sales directors, or you can give us a call at the 800 number and ask for one of us or ask to speak to anyone in the life department. All right, so oh, we still got some more people responding. All right. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close this out. And all right. And finally, for this content as well as other webinars that we have available, you can go to our YouTube channel. You can also go to our Facebook page or go to LinkedIn. There's a lot of content available on those platforms as well. So with that, Corey, I want to thank you for helping out with the webinar today, providing some valuable information to our advisors. I'm sure that this is something that everybody could see a need for at some point in time. So hopefully we were able to facilitate that to where that generates more business for everyone.
My pleasure, sir. Thanks for having me, Tony.
Yep. Any final words at all?
Just think why single premium life, 63 and 70. Have those conversations with your clients, and we're happy to help build that confidence in you and your practice to take your practice to the next level. So thanks so much again for having me.
Well, there you have it. Thank you everyone for joining. Everybody have an outstanding rest of your week. We'll talk to you later. Bye-bye.